presents Bob and Jay's Pro Football Podcast with your host, Bob Katie and Jay Schmidt.
Welcome to Bob and Jay's Pro Football Podcast. I guess this would be week 17. No, we just did week 17.
Yeah. Or week 18 here.
Yeah, well, I guess Wildcard Weekend. You want to call it that?
Yeah.
Wildcard Weekend.
Yep.
We're doing a little Skype version. As always, we end up doing this little scheduling confliction. You know, you never know what's going to happen, but at least everybody is here to watch us do this. So we'll start it right off the rip. Oh, what's this? What's that?
The Bills make me wanna kick your heels and throw your hands up and shout.
Yep.
All right. Jets
Well done.
17, Buffalo 22.
Thank you.
And Jay couldn't be happier.
Woohoo. Yeah.
It's kind of fun. It's really kind of funny that we do this podcast together. Your team's Pittsburgh, mine's Buffalo, and my team got your team into the playoffs.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
That's kind of funny. Nothing more satisfying than completely winning that game and knocking not even from the aspect of getting the Steelers in. It's just knocking the Jets out for a Bills fan. It's like, you know, couldn't get any better than that, except if we were knocking the Patriots off.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, that was nice.
I mean, the funny thing I found out, I didn't recognize till after, same exact score as the previous Jets-Bills game.
Really?
Yeah. So 22-17 for both Bills-Jets games, which is just bizarre.
Yeah. No, that was good. Nice to have them do that. And,
Yeah.
I didn't watch a lot of the games, but I was watching on my phone as much as I could, scoreboard checking. So
Scoreboard watching, yeah. Sammy Watkins burned down Revis Island. 11 catches for 136 yards with Revis on him all day.
Yeah.
Made Revis look old. That's Revis Retirement Island now.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that was extremely good. I'm just surprised the defense held as well as they did. They did let a couple of the 2 touchdowns for the Jets.
Yeah.
I was a little disappointed in. I was hoping they would have done better on that, but
Yeah.
you know, what can you do? You know, but that ends the season for the Bills and Jets, but the Bills, and it'll be interesting to see off-season movements and stuff. I don't think too much is going to happen. The whole Mario Williams thing is going to be interesting to see what they do with him.
All right.
You know, free up $12 million against salary cap, and he wasn't happy with the defense anyway. So
Yeah.
it seems like a no-brainer. But
Mm-hmm.
as we know, this the NFL is unpredictable.
Yep.
Patriots 10, Dolphins 20.
That was a shocker there to me. Wow. New England blew a chance to get the number 1 seed. And
Patriots got issues. They just, I mean, listen. Whenever we talk about putting dirt on their grave, they go and win a Super Bowl. So, I mean, I'm a little bit, gun shy of doing that. But if they have problems to keep fending off the Dolphins' pass rush, which wasn't that great all season long, what are they going to do against all the teams in the playoffs?
right.
You know,
I know.
I mean, they're a hurting unit. They're just trying to keep Brady upright.
Yeah, they're kind of limping. He got a little injury too going in, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. And the Dolphins just throw their hat into the coaching carousel.
yeah.
Actually, they just named a GM this week, a new general manager. I forgot his. Yeah, me and Jay are a little unprepared, trying to get this out, and we didn't do our homework. But they got a new GM, and they're looking for. I mean, they're doing all the usual coaching suspects. But what is it? Mike Tannenbaum there is the head of that runs football operations. He did a terrible job with the Jets back in the day, and I don't understand. I don't understand why Miami gave him all this power and so on. I think as long as he's there, it's going to be a disaster. Dumpster fire number 2 coming up.
Yeah.
For that. Ravens 16, Bengals 24.
Kind of what we thought.
I picked the Ravens, actually.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I picked the Ravens.
Oh.
Ravens were in that pesky role, so I thought maybe they could,
I wanted to pick them, but they just thought that Cincinnati was being at home. So
the Bengals have trouble enough winning a playoff game with their starting quarterback. Now they're going to have to try to do it with their backup.
Yeah, it's looking that way. Yeah.
What a way to end the season that's going to be on Saturday. That's Saturday? Yeah, Saturday, I think.
Saturday night. Saturday night. They had to put it at 8:30 at night for me.
Oh yeah, I know, right? When you're at work.
Yep. Oh, I won't be at work.
Oh. I think Jay's getting a cough. Little bronchial thing going on. Let me see here. Wouldn't this be Steelers 28, Browns 12?
We're from the town with that great football team, which is the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Pittsburgh 28, Browns 12. It was touch and go for a little bit.
Yeah, it wasn't pretty, but they won it. So
they still scored 28 points, and Ben threw a couple of picks.
Yeah.
And
you gotta stop doing that.
D'Angelo Williams, that's the big.
Yeah, the big question mark. But they listed them day to day, so
I still think they can beat the Bengals. If they're, listen. I think the Steelers are going to go as far in the playoffs as the Steelers' passing game is going to take them at this point.
Yeah.
And
it's definitely not going to be a defense, but if they can just have some semblance of a defense, they can. And their offense plays well, they're gonna go far.
Well, I think if the Steelers' defense can keep a team under 28 points or so, it still gives you a huge chance to win with the way they can ring up.
Yeah.
I mean, they're so explosive. Suddenly, it's like bang.
Yeah. Yeah. So they've. We'll see. I was excited they got in. So. It's going to be scary for some people.
Yeah, it is. Like Saturday at 8:30.
Yeah.
The Browns dumpster fire land is going. My number one dumpster fire for the year. Pretty much stayed consistently at number 1. They fired GM and head coach. And they just hired DePodesta. He was with the Mets. He's like an analytics guy, and they're bringing him in. He was actually, I don't know if you ever saw the movie Moneyball.
I never saw it,
but Jonah Hill's character, that is actually him. He played him in the movie. He played DePodesta in the movie. So he's like purely analytics type of guy, all numbers. So that's the way it looks like the Browns are going to go, is like really going 100% baseball type analytics. See if it works. That's hey, the usual shit ain't working, so I guess they might as well try something different.
Yeah.
We got to try something. But obviously, again, just like the Dolphins, they're in the circle of coaching.
Yeah.
To try to get somebody. I don't even think they named a GM yet. I don't think it's DePodesta, but they needed a general manager. They need new ownership, man. They're a disaster. He's trying to be Jerry Jones without the Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Jaguars 6, Texans 30. Kind of what we thought. We thought the Texans would step up and try to grab that division. Yeah. That was important for them.
Gave up on the Jaguars for that one anyway.
Well, yeah, the Jags are going to be different next year, and they just let their defensive coordinator go. So they'll be looking for somebody else there. But They definitely. I mean, they're on. They've got nothing. I feel like they've got nothing but up to go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they're making a lot of traction that way.
Yeah.
So I think the Texans and Colts are gonna have to watch in the rearview mirror because they take the Jacksonville lightly. It's gonna creep up and get them.
Yeah.
Texans are what Saturday afternoon at 4:05 or whatever later. So they're in the playoffs, and we'll see how that goes for them. Titans 24, Colts 30. Big news, obviously. Colts still won, but they still knocked out of the playoffs. But Pagano and the general manager there are back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which, by what I read, just shocked everybody. So, I mean, even people in the organization are what? So, we'll see if that's more than anything. I never thought their coaching was an issue. I just thought it was a lack of talent of what they had.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they got a lot of aid. I think they were trying to get those extra pieces, those older guys in to get to the Super Bowl. You know, to make that run. And I think the problem is they didn't build enough youth, enough of a core. You know.
Yeah. I think the even bigger news is that the Titans scored 24 points.
Yay! Yeah, right? No shit.
Oh.
Yeah, it is against the Colts, but with what? A fifth string quarterback? Both them and the Colts are like they're running through quarterback. I mean, think about it. They were one game away from winning the division. The Colts were winning their division, and they were like on their fifth quarterback.
Yeah.
That's got to get that's got to have some weight. You know.
Yeah.
In there, that's crazy. Titans, they're in the coaching. You know, throwing their hat in the coaching ring also. You know, listen. We could sit here and talk about who's interviewing at where and what. You want that information? Go read the internet. They got it all. It's too confusing for me. When they boil it down between one or two guys, we'll talk about it next week or something. But right now, it's just way too many going here, there, and everywhere. Although, what's interesting, though, is the Chargers fired a whole bunch of offensive people, including offensive coordinator Frank Reich. And the Chargers had one of their best offensive years under Wisenhunt, and he's available. So I wonder if maybe that's a landing spot back for him.
Yeah,
as an offensive coordinator. That'd be interesting. Redskins 34, Cowboys 23. Redskins are just. I mean, I know it's the Cowboys and everything, but Redskins are pretty hot. They're like they've got so much confidence, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, they're just walking into places like, we know we're good, just knocking it out of the ballpark.
Yeah, they've been playing well.
Yeah, I mean, they're playing. There were some throws I saw in the highlights that I was like, you only get those breaks if you're just in that zone. You know what I mean? Those don't happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Only if you're in that zone, and they seem to have found that zone. The Cowboys, well, enough said on that. Cowboys are on Johnny Manziel watch, I guess.
Oh yeah.
It's all the rumor. Eagles 35, Giants 30. Speculation, was it Tom Coughlin's last game? Yes, it was.
Yeah.
This is the one I don't understand. Your team is in flux. Obviously, you don't have enough talent. You look at. They said that right after they listen. He resigned. I saw the thing. He didn't look like he resigned. He looked like they told him to resign.
Yeah, they gave him the option to resign.
He was pissed. He walked right by the owner and didn't even blink at him when the owner was kind of like, "Hey," he walked right by him like, he wasn't happy about it. And I don't blame him. I mean, two Super Bowl rings should be able to get you a rebuild. You know what I mean? After you've won those Super Bowl rings, you should be able to be there for a rebuild. You know?
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything wrong with they didn't look like they lost the team or anything. It just looked like they just didn't have the talent.
Yeah.
And is that his fault? No, they have a general manager. It looks like they needed to do something on that end more than anything.
Yeah.
But them and the Eagles that was like the, who can win for their coach but not get fired thing or something. I don't know. Both of them are.
Philadelphia didn't even have a coach. That's what.
Yeah, they didn't even have a coach to keep.
Surprised.
Yeah. Yeah. Those another two teams in their hats in the ring for coaches.
Mm-hmm.
Lions 24, Bears 20. The Lions just have more talent, I think, than the Bears do.
Yeah.
Report just came out like maybe a half hour ago in the last hour as we're getting ready for the podcast here that Calvin Johnson might be mulling over retirement.
Yep.
That's pretty huge, 31. But there's a lot of wear on those tires. You know?
Yeah.
He's and to be honest with you, you got to look at it and go, it might be in the Lions' best interest that he does retire.
Right.
That frees up a lot of cap room, and
Sure.
Stafford's younger, and he's still a really good quarterback. You can go out and get some more talent around you, you know?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if Moore stays the head coach there. I guess it depends on who they get for their general manager.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that'll be one of those hanging in the air thing. The Bears offensive coordinator, Gase, he's got I think there's some teams that have head coaches that are even interviewing him. I don't know. He's interviewing with everybody.
Yeah.
You know, he's like the top of the rung, interviewing with every single team that needs a coach. Saints 20, Falcons 17. And another thing that just came out an hour before I went to podcast was that the general manager and Sean Payton, the head coach for the Saints, are staying.
Yeah.
So, there was word that they were on the trade. That Sean Payton was on the trade block, but I guess they said nobody was interested except for San Francisco, and maybe they just didn't want to do that move. Who knows?
Yeah.
But so yeah, and my assumption with that is that Drew Brees will obviously stay, but I saw salary caps and they got one of the worst.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, they're going to have to cut a huge amount just to get to the salary cap.
Wow.
I mean, they've spent and don't have a ton of talent. You know, they don't. They need to do some. They're one of those teams that they should just they unfortunately, even with Drew Brees, they should probably start a rebuild. You know,
Yeah.
A rebuild in the NFL now could be a year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Could be like 2 years. So, you know, I guess you look at it as Drew Brees wants to stay. He's already got a Super Bowl ring. Maybe he wants to stay for a little bit of the rebuild, and hopefully he's around in the third year still.
Yeah. He threw his 96 300-yard game, the most in NFL history.
Amazing, isn't it?
He said 7 4,500-yard seasons, which is also the most.
and you know, every Dolphins fan just wants to put a gun in their mouth right now and shoot themselves that they passed on him as a free agent.
Yeah.
They had him. He was willing to go to Miami, and they just said, nah. Talk about
Yeah.
Man, what a blunder. What a blunder. The Falcons, you know, Falcons just look like they got the Falcons just look like they need to learn how to win or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
They seem to be in this flux of just nowhere land. You know,
Right.
I no idea with them. Just completely lost.
Yeah.
I guess another year we'll find out what which direction they're headed.
Yeah.
Raiders 17, Chiefs 23. You know, it's what we thought.
Pretty much.
Yeah. You know,
Oakland,
Chiefs are still rolling, and the Raiders have promise.
Yeah.
But will it be in L.A.? The Raiders, Chargers, and Rams have all put in their paperwork. So
Yeah.
that'll be interesting. I think that's next week or something. Maybe we'll have breaking news next week. Who knows? Bucks 10, Panthers 38. Yeah, well, that says that.
Let's just say there.
Yeah.
Carolina did what they're supposed to do there. So.
Yep. They did lose Charles Peanut Tillman, though, one of their defensive backs. So they lost. That could be a significant injury on their defense. Chargers 20, Broncos 27. The Sheriff's back in town.
Yeah.
Peyton came back in and handed the ball off well.
Yeah.
He looked a little bit more like the old Peyton, though.
Yeah, he made some good throws.
Yeah, I mean,
a little bit of that game.
Yeah. So, and maybe this is the time he just needed time to rest. It puts the Broncos in a real bind more for next year.
Yeah.
Because your future, his contract is up, and Peyton's old. I mean, let's say it, he's old. Maybe it's time for them to move on. You know what I mean? After this year, you just got to say maybe it's just time.
Yeah.
Watch they go and win the Super Bowl. That'll really put a nugget. The best outcome that the Broncos could have is Peyton takes them, wins the Super Bowl, and retires, and then they can sign.
That would be easiest. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be the best situation they could have.
Yep.
Obviously, the Chargers, they're going to keep McCoy as their head coach, which I think they should. I think he's been so riddled with injuries. I mean, how can you fault the guy? I mean, there is championship teams win even with injuries. Yeah, they win with a few injuries, not with like 3/4 of your starting team on IR.
Yeah.
They did get rid of almost all their offensive coaches, though, so that'll be interesting. And I think like a couple of defensive ones, too, they got rid of. So that'll be interesting. Seahawks 36, Cardinals 6. I didn't see this going completely that way.
I didn't either. Arizona looks like they have found some issues there.
Yeah, but you just tend to wonder if the Cardinals were. I believe who's their head coach? Help me, Arians. He made a statement about too many people on the team reading their press clippings. So maybe this is that loss that goes, okay,
Yeah, maybe they need a reality check.
Yeah, reality check. Knock down the door. Especially when it's a team you could meet in the playoffs.
Sure.
Yep.
That
maybe that was the big reality check there. Seahawks, they get Marshawn Lynch back, which can't do anything but help.
Yeah.
The Rams 16, 49ers 19. How did the Rams lose that? They're such an inquisitive team.
They've been so up and down all year. They go to Seattle and win, and then go to San Francisco.
I know, right? And of course, the 49ers and Browns didn't mess around. Like they were like, "Game's over with. You're gone." Yeah. Like you're done. That'll be interesting to see. I've heard whispers of Holmgren. So there's been those whispers, but they're also interviewing everybody under the sun. Vikings 20, Packers 13. Good win for the Vikings. Really good win for the Vikings. Yeah. I just think the Packers are just going to be out on their ass as fast as they can blink.
Yeah. I don't know.
I think their lack of depth on their offensive weapons is especially in the receiving core is caught up with them. Their offensive line and the receiving core.
Yeah. I don't know. Just Rodgers hasn't looked that good either. It's not like he hasn't been making those magical plays that he could make.
Probably because he's thinking I don't want to get the shit kicked out of me. Yeah. Well, when the offensive line was protecting him, he could get the average receivers open. You know what I mean? Now it does. Now that he's also under pressure, on top of not having his offensive weapons, you add the two of those and ask Tom Brady how that works, because he's kind of in the same soup right now.
Yeah.
So that wraps up week 17. I went 11-5.
10-6.
And my total for the year so far is 168.87.
That was 146.97.
Had a couple of weeks I had a couple of weeks that I got you.
You crushed me.
Yeah, I had a couple of really good weeks. Even on my risky weeks, I didn't. I did pretty decent. I didn't do too bad overall, but hey, we still got some weeks left to go, some games to go. Maybe we'll come back and do extra points for the weeks to come. You know what I mean? Hey, 10 pointers, Jay could turn this puppy around. Do you have the email and Twitter thing?
Yeah, yep. Bob and Jay's Pass Rush at gmail.com and at Pass Rush Podcast at Twitter.
And our Facebook page at Bob and Jay's Pro Football Podcast.
Yes.
So we got me and John went the podcast. You'll see it tomorrow. We went that whole podcast. Didn't even do our thing until the end. Yeah, it's like you miss it. You don't do it for 2 weeks, and all of a sudden you're like, you're just dumb in the head, which isn't too hard for us. Okay, Wildcard Weekend picks. We'll start with the first game on Saturday, 4 o'clock, which is the Chiefs at the Texans.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with. I think I'm gonna go with Houston.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of a tough one for me, but I'm gonna go with Houston. I don't really know why, but
it wasn't a tough one. I think I'm gonna ride the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they're due for a fall because they haven't had that.
Yeah.
That wake up call loss.
Yeah.
But they just seem to be trucking along. Really, really trucking along, and. Yeah, I don't know. I just have a feeling with the Texans or with the Chiefs. I'm sorry. Steelers, Bengals at 8:30 Saturday night. Who are you going with, Jay?
Steelers all the way.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I'm going Pittsburgh. There's no way in hell I'm taking the Bengals in the playoffs. No way in hell. I don't care.
You've been saying that all year. So.
Yeah, I don't care if it was the Bengals against, Joe Schmo high school football team. I'd pick the high school football team. Forget it. No way. With a backup quarterback?
Yeah.
Unless it's all Andy Dalton. Which is actually, as a Steelers fan, I'd be kind of like, ooh, you know what I mean? Because if it is Dalton, then, yikes.
Yeah.
But, yeah, Pittsburgh all the way. The only thing that it worries me is Pittsburgh's running game.
Yeah.
Without D'Angelo Williams.
D'Angelo Williams, yeah.
What?
D'Angelo Williams.
Yeah, D'Angelo Williams. Sorry, I think I wanted to say D'Angelo Hall. D'Angelo Williams. So, but listen, if they can just get enough of a running game going to keep people off Ben's back, doesn't take much for those wide receivers of yours to get open. So, yes, Steelers all the way on that one.
All right.
Now on Sunday, I don't know what time are the games on Sunday. Is it 1 and
1 and 4 on Sunday? Yeah.
Sunday 1 o'clock would be Seahawks at the Vikings.
Tough one. I'm gonna go with. I'm going to go with Minnesota.
I'm going Seattle. I think Seattle's on a roll, and other than the Packers game last week, I don't know who the Vikings have beat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They've had that stigma this year about beating anybody worth anything.
It's going to be a cold one. They're saying it's going to be about 1 degree at kickoff, they're saying.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, those defensive guys that have to tackle Marshawn Lynch and Adrian Peterson. Oy.
Yeah.
Oy vey.
Yep.
That's going to be difficult. That's going to hurt. That's going to be a fun game to watch. That's what that's going to be.
Should be.
Yeah. You know, even though my team's not in it, I just love watching the playoffs. You know what I mean? Games are all that much more important.
It's a whole different year. You know what I mean? A whole different season.
It is. All you need to do is get in the tournament, and anything can happen.
Yeah.
Packers, Redskins.
I'll go with Washington.
I am too. I just think they
Green Bay's not been impressive lately.
The Redskins just don't seem to be able to do anything wrong,
No.
and the Packers don't seem to be able to do anything right. So, go figure. That's you know, I just it's just a gut feeling. I'm looking at the Redskins going, I don't think they know any better. You know what I mean? At this point, they think they've got everything everything ready to go, and I think they're right on this one at least. So that's our wild card weekend picks. Jay, if you want to give them the email and stuff one more time.
Yep. Bob and Jay's Pass Rush at gmail.com and at Pass Rush Podcast on Twitter.
Tongue twister
and
for
Facebook
Jay.
Page. Do it.
And our Facebook page at Bob and Jay's Pro Football Podcast. And that's it for Week 17 wrap-up and our wild card picks. We'll see you next week.
Yes.
For the divisional rounds.
Enjoy the games.
Enjoy the games.
Go Steelers.
From Homebrew Studios, this has been Bob and Jay's Pro Football Podcast, brought to you by Bob and John's Super Duper Variety Power Hour.